Guys, a really quick video. I'm going to try to do it quickly here. I was asked by a couple different people about the leash pressure and what does that pressure actually look like and what does it actually feel like. So I'm going to just do a quick little demonstration on my own arm here. And so I think it'd be the best way to where I can do this where you can see. When I say a tap, we're going to take a look at what I'm actually meaning by a tap of the collar, which is a good question, and thank you for asking the question. It's a really good discussion. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a tap, as I call it. It's not a correction, it's a communication, like me pulling your sleeve or tapping you on the shoulder. That's the extent of it, if you can see that. And that's about what's happening while we're training. You can see that the collar is flexing. It's not actually digging into my arm or anything like that. It's just flexing. So when I say that I'm tapping the dog with the leash and the collar combination, that's what I'm saying is basically it's just a bit of pressure, more so than a tap, really. And I was asked about a correction. I don't use this collar and leash so far as for a correction per se. If the dog, runs out at the end of the line while he's wearing this collar, of course he corrects himself doing that. But I don't actually use it in the way of, bam, correct the dog like we've seen before. I try to avoid that. I'm just using it for communication and for a way to have control of the puppy or the dog while we're training. And at some point, we'll fade it out and just go leashless and collarless, which is what everybody's desire is to do with their dog. But the reason why I use the thin leash, really sensitive, I can really feel just the slightest, most subtle tap with it, whereas with the big, heavier leash, it's harder to do. This leash, because it's super lightweight, it tends to hang on the dog and it doesn't create pressure by itself. If we have a 1/2 inch collar on a dog and the dog's dragging it around, just the weight of the leash is actually putting pressure on the collar. This one here is so lightweight that it's not putting pressure. And I also never have a loop at the end of these rope leashes. The most I'll do is put a knot. It's probably not even good to have that because I don't want the thing hanging up when the dog's trying to go through certain areas. So I like to just use a drag type leash when we're especially early in the training and I know that the dog's going to be dragging a leash. So that's that kind of covers it, I think. But again, I'm not using it, bam, for a correction. I'm using it for a tap or a way to say, hey, that. In fact, I'm actually using it many times. I'm using it with the puppy in a motivational way, as if we would do one another if we were pumped up and we were playing some type of game, bam, high five, or, elbows, whatever. That type of motivation that we can share with the dog by using this collar and leash combination. And I don't hear a lot of people saying that, but we can use this setup for motivation, and I do all the time. I can motivate the dog instantly with this leash collar combination, the same way that the two of us or a group of us can bam, and really get into it. So using the leash and the collar combo like this for motivation is primary and fundamental to the way that I'm using it. And if you're not instituting some motivational type of energy with the leash and collar, you might want to try to work that in and see how it works out for you. I appreciate it, and I'll see you again soon.